Have you ever really wondered what separates one person from another? I mean, not on the surface, but deep down, at their absolute core. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful text that argues true character. It isn't what we see when things are easy. It's what's revealed only when we're under immense pressure.
I mean, think about this line. It really sets the stage, doesn't it? In the calm of the day, a hyena and a lion, they might just look like two predators going about their business. But when the test comes, when that forest decides to reveal its secrets, that's when their essential nature can't be hidden anymore.
All right, so this brings us to our first big idea. This world of shadows and similar sounds, and just how hard it can be to tell what's what.
The text asks this really fundamental question. In a world filled with so much noise, where opinions can sound a lot like facts, and shadows can look like solid objects, how do you possibly know what's real? Figuring out what's genuine, that's one of the biggest challenges in life.
And here's the answer it gives. The ultimate judge isn't just watching from a distance, it's experience. It's that critical moment, what the text calls the test of situations, where real pressure is applied. And in that moment, masks don't just slip, they completely shatter. All the falsehood just evaporates, and the only thing left standing is the truth.
So how does this test actually work? The text gives us two incredible metaphors to help us understand it: the hammer and the fire.
I just love this comparison. A bar of metal sitting on a table, it tells you almost nothing about its strength or its quality, right? You only find out what it's truly made of when you hit it with a hammer or you put it in the fire. And the argument here is that people, well, we're exactly the same way.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the two ways it can go. When that pressure gets applied, some souls, they're like gold. They're actually purified by the heat. The whole experience burns away the impurities, and it makes them stronger, more refined. But others, well, they're like a brittle, cheap metal. They just crumble at the very first impact.
So you can really break this down into a pretty clear three-step process. First, you have stillness. That's when the true nature is hidden. Then comes the strike, the crisis, the hardship, you name it. And finally, you get the revelation, where the core material, whether it's gold or just dust, is exposed for everyone to see.
And this whole idea of being tested, it's not just about people. Even an idea or a single word isn't truly defined until it's been challenged. A word might sound profound, but its real strength is only revealed when it's put to the test by a critic or even by reality itself.
Now, the text shifts from these big abstract ideas to something deeply personal. It applies this test to our relationships in a section called The Root and the Storm. You know how it is, right? When things are going great, when the sun is shining, it is so easy to be surrounded by people. Smiles are cheap, handshakes are everywhere. Companionship feels totally abundant and effortless. Yeah, it can feel like you have 100 friends, 100 allies. But then the storm hits. Adversity bears its fangs, as the text says. And this is the real test of loyalty, of friendship. And it's a test that, let's be honest, very few people actually pass. And just like that, the crowd is gone. The storm acts like a giant sieve, shaking everything up until only the people who were truly there for you in the first place are left. That 100 plus, it might just become 2.
So what is it that makes those few people stay? The text points to something it calls the creed, or al-Qaeda in the original Arabic. Now, this isn't just about religion in a narrow sense. It's our deepest core belief system, the very pillar that holds up our soul.
And when that foundation is like a root of solid rock, it literally lifts a person up above the waves of hardship. But if that root is made of soft wood, well, it just snaps at the very first sign of a storm.
And all of this builds to the final, and I think most powerful conclusion of the text. It takes this idea and broadens the scope from just us and our relationships to existence itself.
So here's the ultimate takeaway. We tend to think of life as a sort of performance for other people, but this text argues that it's actually an examination. Everything, every person, every idea, every single thing is constantly being tested to reveal its true underlying nature.
This table just lays out the entire philosophy so perfectly. For an animal, its true test is its cry. For a piece of metal, it's being struck. For a word, it's how it holds up to a critic's judgment. And for a human being, for us, our ultimate test is the stance we take when it really truly matters. And that question just turns the lens right back on us, doesn't it? In the quiet moments, sure, we can be anyone we want to imagine. But under pressure, our actions create a definition of who we are that no words can ever erase. So the final question is a deeply personal one. When your test comes, what will your stance reveal?